Good morning. Could I start by thanking the returning officer and all the team who've been working here at the count and at the polling stations today. You make our democracy possible. I'd also like to thank the police who have ensured that we can conduct this ballot here in North Yorkshire, but also across the country in safety. On this difficult night, I'd like to express my gratitude to the people of the Richmond and Northallerton constituency for your continued support. Since I moved here a decade ago, you have made me and my family feel so at home, and I look forward to continuing to serve as your Member of Parliament. It is an enormous privilege. I'm grateful to my agent and constituency team, and I congratulate my opponents here on the energetic and very good-natured campaigns that they have run. The Labour Party has won this general election, and I have called Sir Keir Starmer to congratulate him on his victory. Today, power will change hands in a peaceful and orderly manner, with goodwill on all sides. That is something that should give us all confidence in our country's stability and future. The British people have delivered a sobering verdict tonight. There is much to learn and reflect on, and I take responsibility for the loss. To the many good, hard-working Conservative candidates who lost tonight, despite their tireless efforts, their local records of delivery, and their dedication to their communities, I am sorry. I will now head down to London, where I will say more about tonight's result before I leave the job of Prime Minister, to which I have given my all. I will then return here, to my family's home, and I look forward to spending more time with you all in the weeks, months, and years ahead. Thank you.
The Conservatives are out of power in Britain for the first time in 14 years. How did it happen, and where do they go from here? The Conservative Party have been in a really difficult situation ever since Boris Johnson was forced to resign as Prime Minister over the coronavirus lockdown Partygate scandal.
Good afternoon.
And then his replacement, Liz Truss, led the country into an economic crisis, and she had to resign in a sort of record short time.
But if you come here illegally, you can't claim asylum.
Rishi Sunak had an unenviable inheritance from those two leaders and a big gap in the polls to try and close. Unfortunately for him, nothing Rishi Sunak has tried has been able to close that gap, and many Conservative lawmakers blame his slightly brittle, slightly tetchy style of leadership and lack of overall strategy for this.
My message to the party and the country is simple.
So there's been a number of external factors which have also played into the difficulties the Conservatives have faced. As Prime Minister Rishi Sunak would quite often cite, he would sort of say that the recovery from the coronavirus pandemic or the war in Ukraine is driving prices up and caused a cost of living crisis. And at the end of the day, the electorate has sort of said perhaps it's better to change tack and maybe laid the blame for some of the malaise that there's been in Britain for the last 2 or 3 years at the government store. So where does the Conservative Party go from here? It seems likely that there's going to be a very tough, very messy leadership election. As different personalities compete to become next leader of the party. Now, you would imagine that someone on the right wing of the party might fare pretty well in that election, particularly if it goes to the Conservative Party membership, who are to the right of the population at large. However, that leader is also going to need to come up with a pitch for government which can appeal to the broad electorate, not just to the Conservative Party's own members. And so that balancing act for any future leader will be a really interesting one to watch to see how they can navigate it.